That's not nice.
This was an anal bleaching party.
Talking to me like I'm a stray horse.
Whoa! Uncanny X-Men, one of these.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
That's nothing to say.
What makes Deadpool's humor such a hit while She-Hulk's jokes, well, seem to miss the mark? You'd think they'd both nail it. After all, they break the fourth wall, poke fun at superhero cliches, and have their unique spin on the genre. But the impact, worlds apart. Today, we're diving deep to uncover the 4 reasons Deadpool works, and why She-Hulk doesn't. The MCU has long been the gold standard for blending superhero action with humor, and Deadpool capitalizes on this mix to great effect. Deadpool's humor reflects the character's comic origins, where the irreverent merc with a mouth had already earned a reputation for pushing boundaries. When Deadpool hit the screen, it arrived during a period when superhero films generally took themselves seriously. By taking his humor to extremes, dark, ironic, and outright brutal, Deadpool became a refreshing contrast. She-Hulk, meanwhile, emerged from a period when audiences expected fresh storytelling from the MCU's television division, but felt underwhelmed. Although breaking the fourth wall is her comic book trademark, the adaptation struggled to translate this into the same wit and depth that makes Deadpool resonate. See, start with character likability. Deadpool doesn't take himself too seriously. Right from the opening credits, he mocks everything, including himself. It's a roast even before we know the plot. By laughing at himself first, Deadpool creates this vibe where we're invited to laugh with him, making him instantly relatable. Deadpool's humor begins with a fundamental aspect of comedy: self-deprecation. When Deadpool laughs at himself, he builds a connection with the audience. This approach contrasts with many traditional superheroes who often present themselves as symbols of strength and seriousness. Deadpool's flawed personality and reluctance to be a hero make his irreverence endearing. Additionally, his comments and sarcastic view on heroism feel like a release, especially for fans who see him as an antidote to overly moralistic superheroes. She-Hulk, however, approaches her origin and powers with a confidence that lacks vulnerability, particularly in the beginning. Her brash dismissal of Bruce's experiences creates a barrier to empathy. While her humor could have offered an opportunity to embrace her flaws, she instead projects strength and self-satisfaction, traits that can alienate audiences when not balanced with humor at her own expense. Deadpool didn't just poke fun at superheroes. He blew up the entire genre's boundaries. With an R rating, the team didn't hold back. Bloody action, no filter jokes, and constant roasting of every superhero trope. And that's what made Deadpool feel fresh. He didn't care if his jokes offended anyone as long as his core audience was laughing. Deadpool's R-rated material wasn't just about shock value. It was about freedom in an otherwise constrained genre. At the time of its release, studios typically prioritized family-friendly superhero films to capture a broader audience. Deadpool's willingness to cross boundaries was a conscious choice to create an experience that fully honored the spirit of the original comics: gritty, violent, and often crude. This freedom allowed the film to tap into a more mature tone that spoke to a seasoned audience looking for superhero content that could poke fun at itself. She-Hulk, in contrast, seems restrained, reflecting Disney's cautious approach to protect the Marvel brand. While jokes were there, they rarely ventured into the pointed satire that Deadpool fans expect. For many viewers, She-Hulk's humor lacked the courage to address controversial issues within the industry and genre, thus feeling watered down and less impactful. Comedy isn't just about the main character, it's about the cast around them. Deadpool's world is filled with diverse humor, from Weasel's dry sarcasm to Dopinder's darkly funny loyalty. Even the stone-cold Wolverine provides laughs by just being his grumpy self. A comedy's effectiveness often hinges on how well the supporting cast contrasts with the protagonist. Deadpool benefits from a rogues gallery of side characters who each bring a unique flavor of humor to the screen. From Weasel's cynical pragmatism to Dopinder's unexpected zeal, these characters add texture to Deadpool's chaotic world. Even characters like Blind Al, with her peculiar bluntness, help to create an ensemble cast where humor can thrive from multiple angles. This range keeps the comedy fresh and balances Deadpool's unrestrained personality. By contrast, She-Hulk's secondary characters often play it straight or come across as placeholders rather than fully realized comedic personalities. Without dynamic, humorous interactions to enhance Jennifer's comedic presence, the humor risks feeling monotonous and limited to Jennifer's perspective alone. preventing the show from achieving the same ensemble comedic feel. And then there's the fourth wall break. When Deadpool does it, it's not just to remind us he knows we're watching, it actually adds to the scene. A simple glance at the camera and the joke lands perfectly. Deadpool's fourth wall breaks are a seamless part of the action, often used to involve the audience directly in the joke. In moments like when he acknowledges an internal inconsistency or mocks himself, Deadpool's glances feel like he's letting the viewer in on a secret, elevating the humor and making the fourth wall break an interactive experience. This adds value to the plot, reminding the audience that they're part of Deadpool's crazy ride. She-Hulk, on the other hand, uses fourth wall breaks more as commentary than as humor integrated into the action. While the comics established this device as a defining trait, the adaptation struggles to give these moments the same interactive quality. For instance, when she comments on the subplot structure or other show elements, it feels like an explanation rather than a joke, breaking the immersion and coming off as forced rather than witty. Ultimately, Deadpool's humor sticks because it's unapologetic, backed by a cast that brings their own quirks, and filled with fourth wall moments that land. She-Hulk, meanwhile, falls into the trap of playing it safe and lacks the variety of voices that could make her comedy soar. Maybe with a little more edge and a bit more self-awareness, She-Hulk could have given Deadpool a run for his money. But for now, the merc with a mouth reigns supreme in superhero comedy. Deadpool's humor survives and thrives because it's unfiltered, backed by a committed cast that brings different comedic tones and underpinned by fourth wall breaks that actively engage the audience. This approach allows Deadpool to feel authentic and raw, never holding back for fear of offending. She-Hulk, however, remains cautious and constrained, unwilling to commit to a more daring comedic style that could resonate more deeply. Had She-Hulk allowed for a greater diversity of voices and embraced self-deprecating humor, the series might have brought a new dimension to the MCU. Instead, Deadpool continues to hold the crown, reminding audiences that bold storytelling, when combined with unapologetic humor, is what makes a hero or anti-hero memorable.
So you have the power to put your finger on the pulse of society? Vanisher! Ha ha!
Yeah, it is.
No, it is. My name's Rusty, but I go by Shatterstar.
Isn't that a little derivative?
I realize that you're new to this, but relax. You've been chosen by a higher power.
It's why I'm cursed to be a solo act. Wander the earth.
I'm in.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Why is your hand so tiny again?
It's not my hand.
What the hell's happening? Describe it.
I wouldn't ask him to do that.
They got the legs out and they said, you know what? Can we focus? I like to think that you guys have really rubbed off your pain.
Is their mother's here?
Wait! Chance Vanisher could make it. Nope, no chance.
And how in the fuck are you in already?
Where is he? I can't see.
Fire. Oh my
I'm not X-Men material.
No shit, Shiny Gandhi. What was your
Fucker's too far gone.
Zip it? Thanos, we have a deal and you fuck.